Hail to Adam AF, the best comics gate show Saturday mornings, Arch City Comics. Great show, topical stuff.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and
false news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish these things simply aren't true without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
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 This is the Weekend Woke-Up Call. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Arch City Comics. This is the Weekend Woke-Up Call, and I am Adam AF. Joining me today, we have George Peter Gatsis.
Greetings. Greetings, everybody.
Greetings. Good morning to you. We also have the very tired, the Drew Love.
What's up? It's 7 o'clock here on the West Coast.
Yes, at least you could actually pull yourself out of bed. You'll notice that we are missing our other Canadian. He is not here, Sim.
Yeah.
He's somewhere probably sleeping at his computer, if I had to guess.
You ever wonder if he wakes up with ink prints on his cheek?
Sometimes, yeah. I do, actually.
He's doing sketch cards and he wakes up, one of them stuck to his face, and he pulls it off. It's like the silly putty game, you know?
I imagine him a lot of times, just passing out right there and probably passed out mid-stroke, and there's just a line now across whatever he was drawing where his arm just kind of went limp.
It's the Quebec cord thing to do.
Is it? Okay. Good morning to the chat. Hail, everybody. How are you guys doing today? We've got ValeNet in the chat. White Cat Comics. Hail, Carla. What's up? Kino Subway. Hail, brother. We've got Do Shitu. Early, but still gay. Good for you. Good for you. We got Adam Post. Hail, the other Adam. I'm only here to strike the live stream. Thank you. Somebody has to do it. Might as well be you. Who else we got? Mogwai Centurion. Hail, brother. We got Mitchell. Hail, Mitchell. Seen Mitchell in the Atomic Deuce chat last night. That was a good time. We've got the Art of Stevan. Hail. Hail. We got, speaking of Atomic Deuce, Rotten Glory. Hail. I figured I better be here in solidarity since Adam rocks the Atomic Deuce late Friday night and still makes this happen early morning. Yeah, it's rough sometimes because I tend to get a little intoxicated on the Atomic Deuce. But it is what it is, I guess. I had to cut out early last night. We were at 2.5 hours, and I was done. I was just out. So sorry. Kino Subway says, I blame Simon. Yep, it is Simon's fault that we are running late because, we just decided to start without him.
I always blame Simon. It's a good thing to do.
It is my motto. It is definitely my motto. We've got a Commie Bastard in the chat. Commie Mark, hail, brother. How you doing today? Hail, everybody else. Thank you guys for joining us. I love that you're all here this early in the AM. Felix Haas, hail. Lothar D. How you guys doing? Good to see you. How are you guys doing today? What's been going on with your weeks?
Are you asking me?
Either one of you. Speak up.
Go ahead, George.
Stuck in the basement.
Stuck in the basement. Well, then I guess you are fitting the Comicsgate mold of being a basement incel, I guess.
Well, no, not necessarily. I haven't felt the difference at all because my life has always been in the basement.
So it's just you're just going about life as normal.
I'm just going like, wow, the entire world has just come down to my level.
Yeah,
See, I'm in the attic, so I'm above where you're at.
Yeah. Well, I live alone and I work from home, so this whole self-distancing thing is like normal behavior for me. So
Yeah, so you guys are fitting right in. Just I think it's kind of funny. There are a lot of people out there that are freaking out about all this, and then some of us are just like, well, this is pretty normal. I don't really like to interact with people anyhow, so now it's like illegal to interact with other people. So I'm okay with that.
now I got an excuse to be an asshole.
Very true. Man, I seen this this video. I think it was yesterday. I seen this little video clip that somebody posted up on the Twatters, and I had to play this because this is fucking funny. The absolute state of the comic book industry. Did you guys see this little cartoon?
That was hilarious. Yeah,
this is amazing. Let's give this a little watch here.
It's beautiful.
These are actors. These are people who could be doing something else, and they're on the big screen actually selling our characters. And we can't make it work because we're in the comic book industry going, well, yeah, Robert Downey Jr. is pretty good as the Iron Man, but I think it'd be much better if we just killed him and just added a little teenage black girl with a bad attitude.
Yeah, I've said this before, but I'll say it again. It's creators that did not capitalize on the greatest advertising push for comics in the history of anything. You had the biggest 20 run of movies ever made. It's unprecedented. And what did you do? When everybody in the world knew who Tony Stark was, who Iron Man was, and they went into a comic store, who was it? It was Riri Williams. When everybody in the world knew who fucking Hawkeye was for the first time in 60 years of the household name, let me go in it. Where's Hawkeye? That's her over there. It's Kate Bishop. You fucking creators that did not capitalize. Well, I want to see Thor. Where's his comics? Oh no, it's her. It's that woman. That woman with no. You assholes. You artists. You creators at the fucking mainstream. You destroyed these shops. It was you. It's like there's nobody else to fucking point the finger at. You were given a legacy by your betters, by the Stanleys and Dickos and Kirby's, and your betters gave you a legacy, and the best you could come up with was Riri Williams and Kamala Khan. You fucking destroyed this shit.
Yeah, absolutely great. I'm assuming that Michael Bancroft here was the one who did this animation. It's absolutely fantastic, sir. I hope you continue to do animations like this for all time. I know there was somebody, I think it was Camel Moon Studios. He was trying to do that Space Ghost parody.
Yeah,
with
that's Camel Moon.
Yeah. And that
he's a really, really cool dude. We gone on a stream with him on Thursday with on Narwhal's channel. Yeah, he is a super cool dude. He is doing that. What's Talk Salad is the name of it now, and it's basically the same like conceptual thing, but no longer is it Space Ghost to his original characters. So
okay, yeah, that's definitely the better way to. I thought the Space Ghost thing was awesome. He didn't change the characters enough, and when he put that DVD up on Indiegogo, they immediately got him for copyright.
Yeah, but they couldn't. Technically speaking, it was a parody, and they couldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole.
well, no, they did. It did get struck. So,
Yeah, well, it did get struck, but if technically, if he would pursue it, and he had the cash to pursue it, he would have probably walked away with quite a bit of money.
But it's not like it was, I guess, something that had gone to a court of law. It's Indiegogo saying this is our website, these are our rules, follow them, or
Right. Indiegogo specifically, gotcha.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think like the Cartoon Network or whoever owns the rights to Space Ghost was the one who came out after him. It was Indiegogo saying, okay,
Right.
this is too close to the original Space Ghost.
Somebody reported it, and Indiegogo agreed.
Yeah. Which somebody got reported in Comicsgate. Go figure.
Yeah, exactly.
Sore losers.
Yeah. We played this clip last night actually on the Atomic Deuce, but I wanted to play it again. I was planning on just playing it this morning, but I had to share it with those guys last night. So if you caught that stream last night and seen this, well, we're gonna watch it again anyway because this is also a hilarious animation that somebody did here. So this is Joe Biden is calling Raiden.
My name's Joe Biden. I'm a Democratic candidate for the United States Senate. And to get hot, I got hairy legs that turn blonde in the sun.
What did you say?
And the kid used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again. They look at it. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap. And I've loved kids jumping on my lap.
What do you mean by that?
150 million people have been killed since 2007 when Bernie voted to exempt the gun manufacturers from liability.
What's wrong with you?
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids. We choose science over fiction. We choose truth over facts.
What are you talking about?
My name's Joe Biden. I'm a Democratic candidate for...
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, that's something. Our presidential candidate, Joe Biden, everybody.
It's a sad state of affairs that the opposition to Donald Trump is a raving lunatic who can't remember. It baffles me. The hundreds of millions of dollars, all the resources pooled together, and this is the best they can come up with.
Yeah, it is pretty embarrassing, I think.
It's laughable. I mean, it should be laughable, but it's sad on so many levels. Where was the person at the very beginning saying, no, okay, let's just forget this guy and pick somebody random from the population?
That's not how it works, though, man.
Yeah, it's too bad. It's like,
you know, I mean, as you know, as gaff, filled Joe Biden is. I mean, they did exaggerate the shit out of it and the thing. I mean, I always hate when it comes to politics. That's like the one subject matter that we should not like distort the truth for laughs. You know what I mean? Or just like lay it out for laughs. I don't like it just because it a lot of people go out there and it confuses people who don't know the difference. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the downside to it. I mean, shit's funny. I mean, I laugh, but I feel bad because it confuses the ignorant in a big fat way.
I think the whole Democratic thing, and I don't want to get too much into politics here, but I would have thought that the Democrats would have done everything in their power to put up a candidate that could take down Trump. Do you think they did that?
Well, what I think is that one side, tries to like emphasize playing fair and, following the rules. And, they try to portray that more than anything, while the other side doesn't give a fuck about the rules. They don't give a fuck about playing fair. They're like, win at all costs. This is fucking war. Fuck you. And that usually if you it's like, that's a weighted scenario. You know what I mean? Even if one side wins the popular election, the other side says, well, fuck you. We got the Electoral College. That's what really matters. We're going to take that angle. Oh, fucking 10,000 votes, whatever, dude. We won the presidency on 10,000 votes. Electoral College, whatever. It's 10,000 votes. We win. Fuck you. You know what I mean? Considering that's the approach. Personally, when it comes to presidential politics, I live in California. You know what I mean? My vote's not going to make a difference either way. It's already swayed and decided for California how they're going to vote for president. So I worry more about local politics. That's the stuff that's important. The stuff where my vote makes a difference.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. Hail the newcomers in the chat. We got Krieger, Riot Kitty, Justin McClure, Spartan Scotsman, Captain Fuckhead. Hail, guys! Thank you guys all for coming, and ladies, of course. Right, Kitty? Not being sexist, not leaving you out.
How's the local politics in both of your locations? I mean, do you have batshit crazy bylaws that says, hey, you know what? It's okay for you to commit a crime as long as it's under $1,000.
No. In my area, the craziest shit that happens is that they try to privatize, public utilities or something like that. That's the craziest shit, because that's the dumbest stuff ever. People don't realize it's like, oh yeah, the stuff that we fucking absolutely set up as a government facility because we actually make sure that shit has to happen, life or death purposes. Yeah, let's just give that over to a fucking corporation, and and then they become beholden to their stockholders, and then so whether or not we get our water delivered clean, and it goes through all the right treatment plants, and treatment plants get enough maintenance, it's gonna be based on somebody's business bottom line, the kind of people that cut people, as jobs to just no, I don't think that's wise. But other than that, it's like everything around here is pretty normal. It's it's little things like should we do a bonds for schools, or little stuff like that. So
Well, this is crazy. Justin McClure says, when I lived in Virginia Beach, I essentially paid for water 3 times a month.
What?
Dude, that's insane.
Yeah, well, I don't drink the water here that comes out the pipes, because it's like it tastes like shit. It's healthy. You can drink it and live on it, but like it tastes chlorinated. But I do need the water for my plants, and I do need the water for bathing, and my cats drink the water that come out of the faucets. So.
I don't drink water out of the tap. I drink water out of I buy jugs of water.
Yeah.
Justin,
I also do bottled water. Yeah.
Justin says private companies took control of public works, but you got multiple bills. Holy fuck, dude!
Wow.
Yeah, no, it gets crazy like that. It does, because private corporations, they try to, well, like for instance, I can give an example in my local area, the dog catcher. Do you know that the dog catcher job used to be an elected job, right?
Wow.
Really?
Yes, you used to vote for your dog catcher. That was then the elected job was taken away, and the job was, instead of it being an elected position, it then became a subdivision of county police, right? And then they outsourced it to a private corporation, which a nonprofit, the ASPCA. Actually, in this way, it's not the ASP, it's not the American, it's actually the Central California, SPCA. So it's the CSPCA. And then, so basically, the dog pound became, the Society for Protection of Animals, which is, the Society of Protection of Animals is supposed to be the people that fought against the city who were killing the people in the dog pound. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know what I mean? So it's like almost like the political enemies, joined forces, and so then at some point it was like, what the hell? But now all the government money that's put towards any kind of dog catching goes to the people that run what was the pound, but now is like, it's, what I mean? It's not the same. And then they've turned killing animals into a business. You know what I mean? Even though they are technically a nonprofit, but they even like use the strategy of tugging your heartstrings. Like, oh, look at these cute little animals. They only have this much long to live. It's like, what the hell? You're going to kill a cute little puppy? It's like, show that to us on TV. That's so wonderful.
Well, that's an interesting history lesson for everybody.
I'm sorry. I that's like one of those things that bugs me, about the local politics. You guys asked,
I just filter my water.
Commie Mark says, are all you capitalists championing state-owned utilities? Bloody communists. I don't know if we're championing it, but
it's a social thing to do.
Yeah. Socialism and communism isn't the same thing, and some socialism makes sense. I mean, public schools, that's socialism. The fire department, that's socialism. The police department, that's socialism. I mean, socialism is just when people treat socialism as a dirty word, they're thinking of it as an extreme only. and instead of as a seasoning that you put on a well treated meal.
Wow, I'm trying to imagine that.
No, sorry, go ahead. I was just queuing up the next video.
Did my metaphor reflect the fact that I'm hungry?
A little bit. Since we were talking about the president and people who could possibly take down Trump in office, I think there is one.
What, you want Greta Thunberg, don't you? That's who you want. You want Greta Thunberg. You just want to
I've been waiting for somebody to ask me about that. It's been bothering me for a long time too. Go ahead.
One of the biggest rating hits of the coronavirus, aside from these briefings, has been a show on Netflix called Tiger King.
Yeah.
And the man who's the star of this is a former zoo owner who's serving a 22-year prison sentence. He's asking you for a pardon, saying he was unfairly convicted. Your son yesterday jokingly said that he was going to advocate for it, and I was wondering if you've seen the show and if you have any thoughts on pardoning Joe Exotic.
Which son? Must be Don. I had a feeling it was Don. Is that what he said? I don't know. I know nothing about it. He has 22 years for what? What did he do?
He allegedly hired someone to murder an animal rights activist, but he said that he didn't do that, and he was.
You think he didn't do it? Are you on his side?
Well,
are you recommending a pardon?
No, I'm not advocating
As a
anything.
reporter, you're not allowed to do that. You'd be criticized by these. Would you recommend a pardon?
I'm not weighing in on time.
I don't think you would. I don't think you would. Go ahead. You have a question? I'll take a look. Is that?
I think he won't pardon him because I think that Joe Exotic is the only person who could probably beat him in the November election.
I can't believe it. I mean, the guy's got he's on a world stage. Everyone's watching these press conferences, and that's the question he can come up with.
This is my favorite. Here is we're gonna rewind. The woman. Keep your eyes on the woman behind the reporter asking the question.
I'm waiting for somebody to ask me about that. It's been bothering me for a long time too. Go ahead.
One of the biggest rating hits of the coronavirus, aside from these briefings, has been a show on Netflix called Tiger King.
Yeah.
She's looking down, just minding her own business. She hears Tiger King, and she's like, "What is this motherfucker asking?"
Yeah, what station is he with?
Man who's the star of this is a former zoo owner.
Look at that look of bewilderment.
Yeah, her face is like, this guy's not asking a serious question. But who did he define? Did he state who he was with? That's what I want to know right now.
No, if he did, it was earlier in the clip because it doesn't say what.
That makes a difference. I mean, what if he's like from some small town paper and just ended up there because he got shuffled into the room, you know?
Well, it's very hard to get into that room, especially now. There's some serious political maneuvering to get these people.
Yes, there it is, but also at the same time, they can have their favored news outlets that are in the you know what I mean, and then there's some crazy people that have gotten to the room. You know what I mean? Let's just put it that way.
Mogwai Centurion says, "Hail the Tiger King." Dushitu says, "Wait, now politicians talk about reality shows." I don't know why you seem surprised, honestly.
Yeah, that we're talking. I mean, especially since this president, cares more about ratings than a lot of things, and he used to be on a reality show. I think that becomes the subject of fodder that interests him.
I can almost guarantee that Trump knows more about Tiger King than he's leading on in this press conference.
He probably knows more about Tiger King than he knows about a lot of things going on right now. So.
Vazin Kasi says, "Just pardon Joe on his second term." Yeah, he could do that once he gets reelected. Just pardon him next year. Justin McClure says, "These reporters have gone full retard." Yeah, I think they have. Rotten Glory says he got a $300 bump to do it from Netflix. I could believe that.
That is an interesting point. Did Netflix if he worked for one of those rags that does they're trying to find a way to talk about something that their readers will actually read. You know what I mean? So it's maybe he's an entertainment feature. I don't know.
Wow, a sponsored question. during the coronavirus press conference. Ballsy move.
Could be a ballsy move. Could be a brilliant move. Although at this point, I don't really feel like there are many Americans. If you have Netflix, you've watched Tiger King at this point. Have you guys seen it?
No.
No? I watched it. It's pretty fucking wild.
Can you just bullet point it? I mean, okay, this guy likes tigers. He messed up. He went to jail. Is that it?
Oh, there's so much more than that.
Oh,
fill in the audience. Fill in the audience.
Yeah,
fill in the audience or fill in you two?
Us two.
Well, we're sitting here and we're gonna listen. So go ahead.
Yeah, you got our attention.
So you got this guy Joe Exotic. He's got this tiger sanctuary. It's a zoo. It's a backyard zoo essentially. He's gay. He has multiple boyfriends. He ends up getting married. He gets another gay boyfriend. The other gay boyfriend accidentally shoots himself in the face. Then his husband leaves him. Then he goes completely off the rails and tries to kill this bitch, Carol Baskin. And then there's another tiger guy who has like 7 wives. And there's another tiger guy who's a drug runner.
Wait a minute. Are you saying there's more than one tiger guy?
Yeah.
Holy smokes. Okay, continue.
Yeah, I told you, man. There's twists and turns all throughout this entire show.
Wow. Okay, so I just checked. I just backtracked because I'm a nerd like that. Okay, this reporter's name is Stephen Nelson. He's a Washington reporter at the New York Post.
The New York Post has lost their shit.
Apparently, we were looking at evidence of that at the moment.
I think everybody should give Tiger King a watch because it is so off the rails. It's honestly, it's beyond words.
You what you just described sounds like a TV series that happened back in the late 70s, early 80s called Soap. It was so ridiculous.
Oh, I loved that show though. That was funny.
It was so ridiculous and over the top. It was worse than Twin Peaks, where the writers didn't know what was going to happen the next episode. They just wrote themselves into a corner.
Oh, but that had the best cast, man.
Of course. Yes.
You know which one we're talking about, Adam?
Yeah, I haven't seen that show in years, but I do remember it.
Yeah, man. That Billy Crystal made a huge name for himself on that.
Yeah.
That's I mean, I'm popping up a pictures to remind myself of the names that were.
Well, Robert Mulligan,
right?
Catherine Hellman, Robert Goulet. I mean, it just
exactly.
These were huge actors.
Yeah, the faces that you see all throughout the rest of the 80s, the top stars. I mean, they weren't superstars on soap. Some of them were already successful comedic actors. But because they had been around for a while. But the show was just a show full of ringers. I'm surprised it didn't go longer.
Yeah, it was a sad day when they stopped it, especially on a cliffhanger.
Kami Mark is going to make me go back and rewatch Tiger King now because he says Tiger King has weird parallels to CG. I'm not the only one who sees that, right? Now I need to go rewatch and I need to do a complete Tiger King CG breakdown. I think. Mark, you're invited too, since you helped spurn this along.
Awesome.
Oh, that's great.
So let's take a break from the wild and crazy news for a moment. George, tell us, you've got quite a few different things going on. You have many talents that I feel like are underutilized in Comicsgate. So tell everybody a little bit about what you do.
I have been publishing my own comic book called The Black Diamond Effect, a series. Joe King is part of it. It's issue 20, 120 pages. Started publishing in 1990. September, and I've been having fun. I've never looked towards the mainstream media or to draw and make profit off of other people's characters. I've just been working on my own stuff. That's personally. Professionally, branding, marketing, advertising. I've handled large brands: Bad Bar, Beyblades, Metabots, Franklin the Turtle. I've worked on in feature films. A lot of the work I've done is under NDA. I would be called as the overflow talent, where a studio has a contract with the studio to do the work, but then the changes got crazy, the deadlines got tight, so they would actually call in extra talent to come onto the floor, and I would be part of that extra talent, but we'd be under an NDA, so we wouldn't get a credit in the movie or the TV show. I've worked on press. I worked on both sides of the press. Washed the plates for a 6-color Heidelberg press, exposed film, rubylith, you name it. Emulsion up, emulsion down. Created color keys, cromolins, and I even managed the service bureau for a couple of years back in the early 90s because no one knew what the heck to do with their files. I handled about 1,000 clients a month for 2 solid years, and then moved on to the advertising world. I handled the Burger King account. I digitized the entire Burger King account. They went from a $1.5 million expense down to about $30,000 a year.
Wow!
And it blew their minds. It literally blew their minds. Before they were doing photography. They were doing stippling. They hired an artist to do stippling on the burgers and all the condiments and all that stuff. And it would always be a new illustration. I said, screw this. Take a photograph. I'll put it through a dither pattern at a low pixel rate. I'll put the ad together in PageMaker. Anyone remember PageMaker? Ready, Set, Go. And then just before Quark Express, mind you. And then I do a printout of a laser printer. And they challenged me, so I did a laser printout production. They went through the standard big deal, going to a film house and all that stuff. They compared the two and they said, "Holy smokes, this is insane!" And they handed me the entire Burger King account. I digitized it. It was really cool. I also handled Honda and Acura.
Damn, so you've had all kinds of
oh yeah,
worn all kinds of different hats over the years.
Yeah, I'm on call for publicists, Hollywood publicists for putting together last minute press releases and packages. I'm on call from real estate agents for putting together pitches for real estate ventures. Heck, I've been doing a lot. I've been doing animation as well, just to keep my hands sort of wet in the biz. I did a whole bunch of funny Nerdrotic and Geeks and Gamers animated ball gags, even a Cecil animated ball gag. Recently, I just took a week and did a trailer for Orville Nation for their Orville fan film. That was fun. He came to me with two pieces of footage, a footage of Mars with a sunrise, space planet, and a sweeping pan of a dune. And from those two raw pieces of footage, I created a 2 minutes trailer for the guy. I mean, wow. He doesn't know what to do with the footage other than he says, "Okay, I think I can include this in the story that I had." I gone like, great. What is your story? So he told me, I'm going like, holy smokes, this is a really good Orville story. Too bad it's a fan film. It would be totally kick-ass. So he said to me, George, what do you need? I said, okay, just give me your notes, find some footage that you can find royalty-free off the internet, and give me your notes, and I will do whatever you want in that footage. He goes, what do you mean? I said, well, do you want a cityscape in that shot? He goes, yeah. Okay, I'll put a cityscape. Do you want people walking around in that shot? He goes, yeah. Okay, I'll throw some people in there too. And he's freaking out. His mind is exploding. He doesn't know how to craft a story now because there's so many options. But that's just recently. In the last 2 years, well, in the last year now, actually we're going on 2 years now, I opened it up to a whole bunch, to everybody, inside Comicsgate, outside Comicsgate. Hey, I can produce figurines on your characters. Some people took me up on the offer. Some people didn't. I just produced the Oddity figurine. Just waiting for approvals. By the way,
for Oddity, you said?
Yeah, the Oddity figurine.
Oh, awesome!
Yeah, you saw that, right?
No.
On their it's on their campaign. There's a photograph of all the parts that I printed out from my 3D printers.
Oh shit!
Oh yeah, it's really cool. I got my own fleet of 3D printers, and I've been doing my own stuff, figurines for quite some time, and also retail ready products like a shaver that's been selling all over the world. It's at shavernator.com. By the way, everybody, if you got a hairy face, get yourself a man shaver. Shavernator.com.
I don't ever shave.
one stroke shaving. But as everything else, I put it out there. I got a few hits. Some people come to me and say, can you help me craft a story? Sure. I don't actually create the story for them. I just ask them the questions that they need. Oh yeah, that's another thing. I've been doing, what do you call that thing? Script doctoring for the last 30 years. It's ridiculously fun. Some people come to me with just a blank idea, and in 6 months they're walking away with a polished script. It's actually fascinating to hear the processes of the different people thinking. It's really great. Yeah, I have a large talent stack. I've been doing this self-taught for 30 years plus. And the reason why is because I got tired of waiting on people to actually help me out. So I just ended up figuring out what I need to do. Yeah, there it is.
That looks really good. Looks really, really good.
Yeah, I know he's got mad skills. I've seen some of his work that he didn't show me. Somebody else showed me. He's very believe it or not, as much as George is talking here, he's actually a pretty modest guy.
Yes, I am.
Well, that's good. So how did you end up in Comicsgate? I remember hearing about you. I'd have to say sometime mid last year, I guess, when you had the first Joe King book on Indiegogo.
Yeah,
how did you come about Comicsgate?
Oh, that was really funny. I managed the Dave Sims Cerebus website. As a quick aside, Dave Sim is one of the original independent creators in comic books. He has a character called Cerebus, and he ran a Kickstarter campaign that got about 60,000 plus and change. And there was a serious miscalculation because to fulfill the campaign, he would actually be in debt, and he wouldn't be able to even produce the product that he was promising the backers, which was an audio digital of the High Society book, which was 25 issues from issue 25 or 26 to issue 50. And I know of Dave. I had a conversation with him once in the blue moon. I even produced the first digital Cerebus back in 1990, 91, and I sent it to him as a fan piece of art. And I said, Dave, I'll do it. Don't worry about it. I don't want any money from you. I'll handle the entire project. And he said, wow. So I organized the entire project. I got Dave to actually I helped Dave with the technical audio issues, so he read the entire book in character, and I took his audio, I animated to the pages, and I produced 25 half-hour to 45-minute episodes, plus the supporting material, plus the restoration of High Society, and delivered it to his audience. And also, I created the delivery mechanism that has been going on all the way to today, and it's making mad money on delivering his digital volumes of 16 volumes to people all over the world. They just come there, they make the purchase, and they get the digital volume. So, where was I?
The original question was, how did you end up in Comicsgate?
Yeah. So for some reason, Liam, of all people, decided to contact Dave, and I said, Liam, I sent him back a nice message. I said, Liam, you sent a message to the Cerberus website. Do you want to contact Dave? You have to do it through fax. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Dave Sim communicates only in fax and voicemail. That is the height of his technology.
Wow.
So I said to Liam, I'd go back to the website that at CerberusDownloads.com. Just go to the contact page. There's a phone number there. That's the fax number, and there's a way to actually use a digital fax service for free to send Dave a message. And in the message that Liam said, there was the word Comicsgate. I go like, what is this Comicsgate I heard of? I heard, I keep hearing about it in the news and blah blah blah. And Liam told me about it, and I said, oh, okay, I'll check it out. So I lurked for about 4 months, just enjoying the show. And then one day, Ethan had an open mic, not open mic, but open the chat, and he was answering questions. So I asked him, do you publish the books? Do you publish other people's books? And he said, no, I don't publish other people's books. What you need to do is create your own YouTube channel, Twitter channel, grow your audience, and put your book out. And we're thinking, wow, that's a novel idea. I've been doing that for like 30 years now. I just never took it on an ongoing, serious effort. I produce the book, and I try new things. Everything I've done with my books is always pushing new technologies or new processes. Since day one, I've been producing a book in the vector format, not a hand-drawn scan and then pushing pixels around. No, I would actually draw in Illustrator the entire book. And how I did it back in 1990 is I took my mouse that had a ball wheel on the bottom, yes, the old mouse, and then I drilled a hole through the mouse, and I stuck a pencil through it. As long as I kept the mouse at a 90-degree angle to the screen, I'd be able to actually draw as with the pencils drilled through the mouse into the computer, as if I would be drawing with a tablet today, or a screen tablet.
Holy shit!
Yeah, it was fun. It was great. I mean, you're breaking new ground and all that stuff. And then I'm watching I was the first to do the world's first true 100% computer generated comic book, because it was all in the vector format. It wasn't a scan like everybody else did. Batman Digital, Justice, Shatter, or Iron Man Crash. No, this was 100% pure computer generated. And my entire production was computer generated. I would go to a final film, but I wouldn't do a final film. I actually would do plates on my book. On the very first issue, I did plates. I went directly to plates. The technology was brand new. Everybody else was producing on film. They would go to a service bureau, which is why the service bureau hired me, because I was doing all this crazy shit with my comic book. And I go like, can you actually teach us what you're doing? Because we're not doing this stuff here. No one's doing this stuff, and you're actually figuring, you're actually telling us how to manage your files. So I said, okay, sure, I'll manage your service bureau I did it for 2 years. But I was the first one to be 100% digital in my production, end to end. And then in 2000, the entire industry actually started to catch up and become digital end to end. Oh, another thing. This is, I think these guys will appreciate this because it happens a lot in Comicsgate. A lot of people just don't realize it. You're shunned, right? In Comicsgate, people just, don't take you seriously. Oh, you're Comicsgate? Yeah, bullshit. Leave me alone, kind of thing. Well, I had a fight to get my book into distribution with Marvel and DC, and I only discovered the effort and what do you call it, the blacklisting and all that stuff. Because when I actually spent money to advertise in distribution magazines, I would come back and I would get like 1 or 2 orders from that region, and say, "Wait a minute, this is bullshit. It's impossible. I just spent money to put my characters on a cover, and you're telling me I only got like 1 or 2 orders in that region? Something's wrong." It turns out I found out as I pushed and pushed, old school methods, mind you, calling people up on the rotary phone, is that Marvel and DC at that time didn't like the independents at all.
They never liked the independents.
No, they didn't, and they would say, we'll give you extra bundles of books if you actually take favor over us than the independents. And you had to fight for everything. And at that point, I said, "Screw this! I'm going to go direct." So, as of issue 1, and forward, because I did 3 printings on issue 1, when I went to San Diego, and I shook the hands of Jack Kirby for the first time and last time. What a great guy! And Mobius was right next to my booth, for crying out loud, and I didn't even know it for 5 days. Holy smokes, that was a mind blow, because I got to know his nephew really well. And he told me, "Yeah, that's my uncle over there, Mobius." And I'm like, "Get the heck out." He goes, "Yeah, holy shit." And Mobius was so nice guy. He just handed me a whole roll of movie posters that he's done with his signature on it. And then my mom threw them all out because they were taking up room, for crying out loud.
Oh, what?
Yeah, I know. Okay, so what I was saying is, there was this huge hidden battle between the big publishers and the independents in the 90s. It was huge. I mean, so I said, "Okay, screw this. I'm going to actually distribute my book digitally on floppy. 700K floppy. Okay, I maxed it out, and I would be handing the floppies out. People would be giving me like $1 or 50 cents on, for the floppy and stuff like that. But no, here's a floppy. Go home, look on your computer. If you like it, you can mail me a check." So they mailed me a check and said, "I like issue 1 and issue 2, and here's the money." And I would put issue 1 and issue 2 in the mail and send it off. I would do that all through the 90s. I would be building my own audience, old school, direct. And by the time I hit the 2000s, I would near the 1998, I'd be doing it on Kodak Gold CDs. In 2000, 2001, I'd be delivering it as files, as JPEGs on the internet. They would just come to the website, and they would download a zip file to their hard drives. On top of that, they would have the option to order the book. And I've been building my audience since then. And every time I would put out a new book, I would let my audience know, and they would be buying the book. At the time, here's something interesting these guys will appreciate. At the time, a digital book, if you did like a one-off, would cost like $100 in 1998. And the paper, it was always thick paper. They couldn't run anything thinner, and you can feel the toner, the ink, erased on the paper. that's a one-off. But if you did multiples, the price has definitely come down. But today, the digital press is so well produced that, from my experience working in press and all that stuff, you find yourself a good digital printer. You run your fingers across the page, you'll never feel the ink raised at all. It looks and feels like an actual thing that went to press, and it's fantastic, absolutely fantastic. And that's what I did with Joe King. It's my first book to be 120 pages. Usually my books were about 32 pages. So I circumvented. I worked around the problem of the big guys being jerks, and that's how I built my audience in the mid 2000s, 2003 to 2006 or something like that. I actually produced my book with brain injury awareness as a flip book. So I had my story continuing, but I also had my characters interact and talk about brain injury and all that stuff. And on the flip side, there was articles about brain injury, advertising about doctors and lawyers and hospitals that handle brain injury and all that stuff. And it would go to doctors' offices, lawyers' offices, hospitals, treatment centers, and all that stuff. It was a great run. And then 2008 to 2010, I tried the Apple Store, and that was just ridiculously stupid. The constant upgrades on the Apple Store, that was the dumbest thing ever. It's like, there was an upgrade notice almost every week. What a waste of time! Absolutely waste of time. I took care of my book better just sending out a PDF. It was keep it simple, a PDF. And since then, I took time off to actually do feature film work and more advertising work, a couple of TV shows and stuff like that, real estate show, visual effects, actually server maintenance, data management for a special effects house and stuff like that. And then I finished Joe King. Originally, I finished it. I think it was 60 pages. Oh no, 96 pages. But then by the time I finished that campaign, I said, "Screw this! I'm going to do the whole 120 pages," and I did, and I delivered it. I delivered Joe King in a binder. Joe King was delivered in a binder. It was the book, the 120-page book, is slipped on the inside cover of the binder. I had a slip pages for all the original art, and I had 18 trading cards that were in the Fleer 9 on a page sheet. And plus, I found, of all things, I think it was like 50 copies, around 50 copies of my original first printing of the book, the first issue, and I slipped that in on the back cover. And when the time came to 2020, I realized, holy shit, it's been 30 years since since the first issue. So the binder package that went out to the backers for Joe King, it was like 18 of them from Indiegogo. They got the sweet awesome package. The customers that I have originally, or not originally, that I've had ongoing, which is a huge number outside of Indiegogo, they got a direct email notice, and they all made their purchases directly off of my online direct store. And I'm telling you, if you guys ever think about it, the fees as you're going through, you're saying, oh, Indiegogo is cheaper than Kickstarter. Yeah. But the thing is if you do the 30 or the 60 day, and that's it, and you stop and you move your book and you shut it down, the fees are okay. But if you're ongoing, there's fees that are going to be racking up with every transaction that comes in. With every transaction that pulls money out of Indiegogo and goes to your bank account. So over the long run, if you make one sale during, say, a particular pay cycle, half that money, some of that money, like a ridiculously a big percentage, is going to the fees, Indiegogo, and the bank transfer fees and all that stuff.
Yeah, if you're in Canada, the bank transfer fees are
Ridiculous. It's $25.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
Sam complains about that all the time too.
yeah, so I pulled my book off of Indiegogo. I only discovered this after a while. I really wasn't paying attention. In September, I pulled it out of Indiegogo and I just put it to my online direct store. And at that point, I made my ongoing audience of over 30 years aware that the book's available for them. They came in droves and they made their purchases. And I was able to deliver 95% of the books. There's a few books remaining that's I was ready to send out, but this whole coronavirus thing got in the way. I got sick. I got really sick for about 3 to 4 months, just before this whole coronavirus thing happened, which actually drained me personally. The only thing I could do is maybe go online and go to sleep. I think I may have had it. I'm not sure. But, I did get better. And I was ready to deliver the final few packages that were left. But the thing is, I did a test. And I think you guys should do a test too. If you're sending something in the mail, send it registered, whatever you want to call it, tracking. And if it gets to the destination, then the system's working. I did a test, and they lost it. It took me a month to figure out what happened.
No shit.
No, seriously. I sent the Oddity guys the second round of the printout, not the gray one that you saw, but a full color version, right? The full color plastic, and it got lost in the mail. But it took me a month to figure out that it got lost in the mail. And the last few packages in my Indiegogo campaign, like all the packages already that were sent out, there's a lot of original art in there, and I can't replace that. And there's not enough insurance to replace the original art. So I'm just waiting until this whole coronavirus thing actually blows over, hopefully by the end of April, so I can send out the last few remaining packages, which are just sitting here and already wrapped up, ready to go. That's technically speaking regarding this whole virus thing. But it's crazy.
Wow.
Well, did I answer your question? Or
I think so.
Just ramble?
I think so. I think you answered it and then some.
Oh, okay. Let me add, because I have the floor. Let me tell you this: Comicsgate, or in the legacy term, self-publishing, direct self-publishing, is the best thing that's ever happened to comic books so far. And, I can't tell you my experience with in the last 30 years. I've gone in and out of different communities, whether it's old school, getting together, conventions, other forums on the internet and stuff like that. Comicsgate is by far the most awesome community of talent and customers ever to have existed. If no one's appreciating Comicsgate, they don't know the shit that came on before. They don't appreciate what is in front of them. It's huge. It's huge, and it can only get bigger. Why? Because it's slowly happening. It's slowly happening, but everybody is becoming self-independent, decentralized. They all know the logistics of shipping. They all know the logistics of printing. They all understand the logistics of writing a story, and they all understand the logistics of crafting a good visual. And they all know, they're all starting to understand the logistics of marketing. Everybody understands this in their own little island, and we're looking over to EVS, Malin, and McFarlane, Polito, as examples of how to do it right. Yeah, these guys have had history behind them, but the fact is that regardless of the history, the formula is still the same. The formula that they're using is the same formula that I'm using for the last 30 years, except I wasn't in the market as what do you call it, as a business. I was doing it just to actually produce the book, get it done, and get on to the next one at my leisure. Comicsgate actually changed that in me. Now it's like, okay, I can actually produce the next one, yes, at my leisure, but my leisure time has just dropped to 0 because I can actually jump onto the next book as soon as the last person on my list on the first book gets the book. Now I can actually just focus on that instead of going to the different talents that I have in my stack and actually focusing on something else. And comics are a lot more fun than, let's say, doing visual effects. But then again, having pretty girls run around the screen is actually pretty exciting too.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah, it's shock how some people just think it's sacrilege.
So what is? Can you give us like a brief synopsis of what is Joe King? What is this story about that you've got? You got the mailing list up now. I dropped it in the chat. I've got a link in the description as well. I read the first book. I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. I know I talked to you about it, and I told you that it gave me kind of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy vibes, with all like your little notations and everything that you have like in between panels. Like I will give George this. He does not let one single centimeter of space go to waste on his pages.
Thank you so much for saying that. That's a very good observation point that not a lot of people have picked up on. Thank you, sir. I really appreciate it. Yes, I did actually try to maximize everything in the book. I maximized the story. The first book, Joe King versus the World's Greatest Average Hero, is the story itself is basically to save the universe, they have to make sure that the dinosaurs don't go extinct, and that's the ballpark pitch.
Spoilers.
Right. Yes. And but the book is beyond that. The book has multiple narratives built into it. It's not like a read your own adventure. No, there's multiple narratives. There's the standard narrative which you just read the balloons and the panels. There's the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy narrative where you actually read between the panels, and you get a greater understanding of what's going on the page, and also even just more humor. I mean, this book is funny from end to end. I put as much humor in it as possible, and the formula for the humor in the book is old school. There's the setup, there's the expectation, and there's the reality. This is old school formula on humor, and I think I pulled it off because did you laugh when you were reading this at all?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
There are a good amount of, you say old school humor, I call it dad jokes.
Yes. Well, yeah. There's also another narrative in there where there's a non-linear character where you actually have to jump to a page further into the book and follow that character's journey, hero's journey throughout the book, and you're literally jumping from page to page in non-sequence. And when you start to look at this character's journey from her point of view, you actually appreciate the story a third way. And there's a fourth narrative where it's just in the visuals themselves, because there's connecting visuals, puzzle visuals throughout the book that you don't know. I mean, you will glance over them, but then you will realize, oh, wait a minute, did I just see a fishing line in that bucket outside the gas station? I saw the same fishing line in a bucket, on the first page. This is one of the many gags. This is the obvious one. So there's a lot of visual gags, and those visual gags are actually tell a fourth narrative in the story. Now, and it's 120 pages, by the way, end to end. No art pages. The next book, Joe King Saving Everyone Again for the First Time. What's happened is that they ordered a deluxe pizza, and someone stole the Earth and they placed it on the other side of the universe, right in the middle of a supernova. So Joe and his team
I hate when that happens. Joe
and his team have 120 minutes to solve an impossible mission before the pizza gets delivered. Why 120 minutes? Because that's how long it'll take the pizza to get delivered. But also, every page in the second book represents a minute. So when you're reading the book, you're on say page 46. That's actually the 46th minute in the story. And I'm actually doing old school script writing. I do old school script writing on all of this stuff, but I do old school script writing where I actually read the dialogue out loud, the action of the dialogue, and if I can get to it in 1 minute, it stays. If it's too long, then I have to cut dialogue until it fits that page in 1 minute. Because I'm going to challenge anyone who buys the book if they can finish the book in 120 minutes. But then again, they're going to have to go through the Hitchhiker's Guide narrative and all that stuff. And I'm just going to make it very difficult on a lot of people because the second book has 7 different narratives in it. I planned out 7 different narratives. I already did all the assets. I already did an inventory on all the assets. I did an inventory on all the characters. I did an inventory of all the photography I would need, all the 3D graphics that I would have to create. And I also did an inventory on all the gags that I would have to actually source out, reference in pop culture. So this one is, and what is the story? I told you what the story is about, but how does the story play out? Well, it plays out like the Blues Brothers and the Wrath of Khan.
Okay, interesting mashup.
Actually, if you really think about it, it actually works. Because in the Blues Brothers, Carrie Fisher is after Jake. In the Wrath of Khan, Khan's after Kirk. Jake's brother, Mr. Spock. Boom. Blues Brothers, Wrath of Khan. While the stories are completely different, the genres are completely different, their beats are almost the same.
I think only a crazy person like you would have ever made that connection.
Oh, it's part of the discipline of script doctoring. When I actually tell people crazy things like, "Oh, did you?" They're telling me, "Oh, this doesn't work, that doesn't work," and I would say, "Well, the Poseidon Adventure and Alien the movie have the same story beats. You do understand that, right?" And they're going like, "Oh, mind blown." Or Lethal Weapon 3 and Iron Man 3 have the same story beats. And they're going like, "Oh, shoot."
Oof. Iron Man 3 sucked.
Yeah, but
Morning, Phil.
What's up?
Morning.
Hey, Phil, what's up?
Hey, how's it going?
So that's the gag, where there's just so many layers in story that is ridiculous. But I'm pretty sure somebody's going to be saying, "Well, is this the book that you've been working on for 30 years? Is this all?" And I would say, "Well, yeah, it is." But here's the thing. I'm going to put something in the private chat here. You can click on it if you like. Just so you understand that Joe King, or the Black Diamond Effect, is a very small world, because we're in Comicsgate. We're all talking about world building, universe building, because that's the way you have to go to actually make more of your product. Well, this is the universe that's that I built up over the many years. All this stuff here is all my completed stories, all my completed scripts. And there's Joe King at the bottom. And there's the series of comics, the Black Diamond Effect, on the right. And if you click on the orange button at the top, there's a series of buttons. There's an orange button there. And when you click on it, you'll actually get from the different genres. There's a family story, a drama, a comedy, a thriller, a mystery, an action, a fantasy, another adventure, a sci-fi, a couple of comedies, and another action. These are different. This is the same universe, but different genres in the universe. But
that's interesting. That's actually something that I've been toying around with. I believe Zaid as well is kind of doing the same thing with his The Lost Pages story, is playing with different genres that are all intermingled into the same world.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's absolutely exciting. And if you click on the purple button at the end, you'll see the big picture. And these are the stories that are completed, and the blanks that are the stories that I've just finished developing, but I haven't completed. And right in the middle of this wheel is Joe King, because his story actually interacts with all the other stories. So, as an example, the story you read, 120 pages, there's some elements in that story that actually interact or have been pulled from all these other stories, but you don't know it because you don't understand. You won't know it in context until you actually come across that particular story and that particular volume.
Yeah, it's cool. It's like building your own like universe.
Exactly.
Yeah, sure.
But it takes time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it takes time, and it takes a lot of dedication.
Yeah, and it's interesting trying to figure out new ways to kind of get those stories out to the people in a timely fashion, because it does take time.
Well, it does, and the hardest thing, I've said this to a lot of people, including the people that I've helped with script doctoring. In fact, one lady came to me and says, "George, I have a children's book. I'm absolutely terrified of trying to get it out there." And I said, "What's your problem?" And she says, "Well, I have to protect my story and all that stuff." And I'm gonna tell this to you guys here in the chat and the panel, everyone that listens to this. Listen, it's very simple. You got to understand copyright. You have to protect your copyright. Okay, it's not about rushing your work to print. That's not the problem with copyright. The problem is that you have to show creation and progression of your idea. You cannot copyright or protect an idea, but you can protect the words and the situations that make up that idea. So what you do is you start off with a paragraph or two or three or a page, and then you go to the Writers Guild East or West and you register it. It's about $25 to $35. It depends. You register that, and then you continue working on that, and you write some more. You flesh it out more. It's called a treatment at that point officially. You re-register with the Writers Guild. They'll send you a new registration number, and you continue working on that story, and you continue building up. And then if you can understand the format of a feature film script, and that is action and dialogue. If you can see it, write it. If you can hear it, write it. Stop doing work on thinking. Thinking doesn't work, because it's just going to pull you away from actually creating your story and moving forward. So get your script down in feature film format. Get it registered with the Writers Guild. Doesn't matter what progress you're at. Just register it. Progression with the Writers Guild. What you have done now is have shown progression of your idea, and your copyright is secure. So when you actually come out with your comic book, and someone's going, "Hey, that's a pretty good idea. I'm going to take that idea and run with it." Well, many producers have tried to pull that stunt, including Chris Carter of the X-Files. And one of the writers said, "Sorry, buddy, I got progression of the idea already registered with the Writers Guild, and I can show proof." And and Fox and Chris Carter had to submit and actually give him proper credit and compensation. And this is that's an extreme situation, but within Comicsgate here, you got to protect your work. You got to protect your concepts. And you can do that in a very simple manner. Once you've done that, then the next thing you have to do is you have to have a contract agreement writer and artist have to have a contract agreement. Since the writer's coming up with this idea most of the time, the writer has to have an agreement with the artist saying that this is my concept, you're working for me, I'm going to pay you, and all the work I own. Or if it's a collaborative method where story and art is intermixed and stuff like that, put it down on paper, have a contract. It's important.
That's everything can get all messy if you don't.
Yeah, it will get messy. The Donald DeLay and Nasser messiness. That was absolutely ridiculous. And I called out Nasser when he posted, "Oh, I'm going to sell half of my shares in Bruce. I'm going to show your evidence." Well, I got emails. That's not evidence. And
that's sound advice, George. I mean, that's really, if anybody listening, any creatives out there or future creatives, everything that George just said needs to be written down.
And here's the thing. I'm going to go back to that lady with the children's book. I said, okay. She said, "Oh my God," she had misunderstood the difference between copyright and registered trademark. So by the time I finished talking to her, she had already registered her text. And then she says back, "I'm done. I registered. I got the email notice, all that stuff." I go, "Beautiful." And then she says, what do I do next? I said, "Okay, then take your time. I want you to draw out your book." And she said, "There's no way. I can't do this. I'm not an artist." I said, "Yes, you can." And she just said, "I'm not an artist. I don't know how to draw." And then I pointed to her that you do realize stick figures is a lost art. We have been drawing stick figures for a very long time before we got to the Renaissance.
It's ingrained in our DNA.
Yeah. And I said, it doesn't matter. I need you to go out, get your ass, go out to an art bookstore, get yourself a sketchbook, and come home and you have your children's book. Okay, you know what you do? You take your time and you draw out a passage from the book on each page, and you write down that actual passage in that page.
Yeah.
But I told her not to do it linearly. I told her to do it, non-linear, meaning that, pick a passage from the middle of the book, or pick a passage that actually makes you feel good at this moment in time. This is the passage that makes me happy. Okay, then write that passage down on the page and draw out that page, even if it's in stick figure format. Just do it.
Well, a lot of writers do that, including Alan Moore, Grant Morrison. I was just watching the Cartoonist Kayfabe interview with Stephen Bissett, and he said when he was working on Swamp Thing with Alan Moore, he went over to him and John Tottleman went over to the UK to meet Alan Moore, and they went to his place and they realized that he had a bunch of layouts that he did for Swamp Thing, like the whole series, just at his house. And he's like, "Alan, why didn't you show me any of these?" And he's like, "Oh, I don't want to, like, these are just for me. I don't want to intrude with the art process of what your mind does with my words," which was pretty interesting. But even a guy like Alan Moore is doing layouts, even if it's just for himself. I know Grant Morrison sends thumbnails to his artists all the time, and he just keeps a sketchbook. But it's different from someone like me and them, because they in the early days started drawing their own comics. Like when they were doing stuff in newspapers, they were their own artists, and then it evolved to being just the writer.
Yes, exactly. So, as a writer, even if you're not artistically talented, you can still draw stick figures. You can still get your idea on a page. But I recommend highly, don't do it in a linear fashion. Don't go from the start of the story to the end of the story. Do it non-linear, asymmetrically, whatever you want to call it. Pick a passage out of the story and draw that idea down in your sketchbook, and just fill up your sketchbook. And then when you're done, then you can take all those pages and shuffle them into a linear story, and you'll be very surprised on what you have in your hands. And the reason why I say do it non-linear is because the human condition, and that's another thing that I've gone through in terms of my marketing and branding and all that stuff, is understanding the human condition and how to persuade people when you're doing advertising. The human condition when it reads a sentence, it actually fills in the gap. You're never reading the full sentence. You're reading key words out of the sentence, and you understand the context of it. Your mind, it never reads the entire sentence. But the problem is when you're working on a story, on a big story, however, and 60 pages, 120 pages, whatever, your mind's going to start to fill in the gaps, and you're going to be missing things because you're always working in the shorthand. But if you work backwards, or if you work non-linear, your mind is actually going to have to focus on what it's looking at, and that's where the crispness of your work comes out. And it's the psychological thing. It's like when you're actually writing a story for a feature film.
Yeah.
There's a script doctors do this a lot in Hollywood. When they pick up a script, they turn to page 60. If the second biggest explosion in the script is not on page 60, your script never gets past the gates.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, when you're going to a movie theater, you're sitting down. Your body, you are right now. You as the creative, the producer who put the product on the screen, you're working against entropy in the audience. Someone who's sitting in a chair for over an hour and a half, their body's starting to become entropy. Their mind's starting to become mush. That's why your second biggest explosion in the story is, as a metaphor, is at the 1 hour mark. That's where you supercharge the mind and get it going into the third act.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't craft technically their story in that sense, and a lot of people don't even craft the story in the hero's journey. The hero's journey is important because the human condition for thousands of years appreciates the hero's journey, appreciates the underdog, appreciates the person in Comicsgate that's getting constantly shit on from people who think they know better.
Yeah, that's why I'm, loving people, seeing the reactions to Magic Cop, because I had some guys contact me and be like, dude, I read it, and I read it in one sitting, which was awesome. It's basically 4 issues of a comic, so it's like 92 pages of a story, and seeing that people are just going through it, sitting down and digging it, that makes me feel great.
Yeah, and the thing is, they're volunteer. At that point, they volunteer. Their thoughts on elements of the story that you wouldn't even think about. For instance, some of the readers for my first book, Joe King book, they're looking at it and said, "Were you making fun of crowdfunding on page 9?" I'm going, "Yes, I was."
Yeah.
And another point is, were you actually making fun of Star Trek on this page? I'm going, yes, I was. Were you actually making fun of Superman? The Kurt Swan Superman? This page? Yes, I was. And they were picking it up because I was talking in the context of everything that they had fallen in love with over the many years. And all that stuff was inherent in the hero's journey, the underdog, and whether they picked up on it directly or indirectly, they gravitate towards all the time, and that's why this SJW bullshit that destroyed the comic book industry never worked, because people who understand comics and people who don't understand comics, inherently, this is in our DNA. We reject, stuff that's preached at us. And for crying out loud, the American spirit rejects the very fact of being preached at, not just spiritually, but ideology. I mean, this is what built the American spirit. This is what created the Civil War and all that stuff. It's like, no, you're not going to tell us that we can't protect ourselves. No, you can't tell us that we can't speak our voice. This is all, that the underdog, picked up the stick and stone and said, we're not going to take your shit anymore.
Yeah, for sure, man. Hail.
Yeah.
Hey, we got McGee and Perth Comics in the chat. Hail, guys! Thank you for for joining us this morning. I wanted to switch gears to something a little more lighthearted. That was there. You threw a lot of good information out there, Peter. Or George, Peter.
Peter, George, Mr. Let's not be formal. Mr. Gatsis.
Yeah, that was good. There was something here I wanted to get to. I thought we could all use a good laugh in these times right now. And man, this is something I stumbled upon this yesterday or the day before. I hope everybody hold on to your seats for this one. So this woman here, Julie Borowski, she says, I know everyone is trying to boost their immune systems right now, so I am selling my breast milk. Hey, it's capitalism. Ooh. Breast milk contains immune-boosting proteins, fats, antibodies, and probiotics that protect against viruses.
Hail, sister.
Oh, good gosh.
Hey, where'd my seat go? Damn it, I lost my seat. Yeah, I should have held on to it.
This is awesome. Yeah, I think this is what Dan Frega is using to make his Black Flag book. You know, he says it consists of bullet casings, Mountain Dew, and titty milk. So, I'm excited for that one.
This woman is she's an interesting case. I dove in to her Twitter feed. No,
I bet you did.
Yeah.
Well, I was this piqued my interest.
She looks so happy, man.
Yeah, she's very happy.
Adam, don't take it away from her.
Good gosh. There's so many legal problems that she's about to face. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't know the. Hail, Aaron Calamari and Sketch Therapy in the chat.
Oh, hail, brothers.
Greetings, all.
Greetings. Good morning to you. So Aaron asked, "Where's Simon?" Well, we traded Simon for George, one Canadian for another.
Oh,
yeah. I'm a Toronto Canadian, and Simon's a Quebec Canadian.
Yeah.
Or a Francois, I think it is something like that.
So this lady, she actually has a store up called Liberty Junkies. So she's got T-shirts as well as the breast milk and some other stuff. So here she is. She's a good looking lady.
What's that? Is that a D cup? I mean, come on.
No.
How is she able to service the industry with anything less than a D cup?
Look at her. Look at that shirt of her taking Nazi symbols out of the trash. You know what I mean?
I think they're putting them into the trash.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
There's no directional thing going on there. I mean, they could be coming out of the trash.
It could be using psychic powers to take it out of the trash.
I don't think so. Yeah, those don't look like very bountiful. But who's to say? Who's to say?
Maybe she's lopsy. It looks like the one on the her left breast is bigger than her right in a big way.
I mean, usually it's like that.
I was thinking that too. The one looks much bigger.
Is the left breast leaking? Is that right? I mean, because that stain on the shirt.
Yeah, maybe right breast. That's the shadow of the person taking the picture. Yeah.
Maybe the smaller one is the diet milk. The skim milk comes out of the smaller one.
It's the skimmed milk.
Yeah.
Vailned says Nazis obviously use alien technology to defy gravity.
Oh yes, of course. The Nazis built, created the flying saucers, and they have their base in Antarctica. Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's also selling. What else is she selling here? She's got. She has a book out. Nobody knows how to make a pizza.
Well, that's a big.
She's got masks. Don't cough on me.
Nice. Capitalizing.
Social distancing mugs. Some interesting stuff here.
Yeah, I feel like those masks aren't approved. It's just a thin layer.
Is that yellow mask an underwear?
It looks like it.
That's what I was saying. Everybody needs to just go and
Ooh.
like, buy up all the G strings now and just like convert those into the little Corona masks.
Got that
I've been
Guy
doing that
Fawkes
for
mask.
years.
Yeah, but I didn't mean used ones. I mean,
Oh, the
Ted
mask
Lehman in the chat.
men and women. Hail Ted Lehman. I actually do like the Guy Fawkes one. It's pretty cool looking.
Yeah, that's cool.
Let's see. I was trying to find some more visuals so we could get a better idea of what we're working with here.
Does she have an about page where she says how long she's been in business?
I didn't see. Let's see. No, doesn't appear to be. It just says this little excerpt here says, "Hi there, thank you for visiting my store. I created Liberty Junkies because I wanted to design fun and quality libertarian merch. Stuff that you won't see anywhere else. Please take a look around, and I hope you love my stuff as much as I do."
libertarian.
Libertarian.
Well, at least she's doing something. You know,
Sure.
a lot of people don't do anything.
Where'd the breast milk go? Is that under other, I guess?
Ooh.
Other items?
You mean you haven't bought yet some already?
Maybe it's maybe it's only through like Twitter or PayPal.
Maybe
Or just hit the back button.
Maybe it got removed.
She's cute. Oh, there you go. Oh, that's cheap.
Oh, April Fools.
Oh, damn.
Oh, they got you, brother.
Oh, we got juked. Oh.
She had a lot of it though. Did you see that picture?
Yeah,
That was-
that was a full little vial or flask, whatever you call that thing.
You get Adam. I come on here. You get my hopes up, brother.
Yeah, I had my credit card ready to go.
What am I supposed to do now?
She's actually got. I don't know. It says it's a hoax, but going back through her Twitter here, she's very stocked up. It looks like here.
Yeah, it's good. Adam, now what does breast milk taste like?
I don't know.
Tastes like chicken.
Really? You don't know? It tastes like, oh my god.
I do not know. I've heard it tastes a little bit like honey.
What? That sounds amazing.
Well, maybe you could contact her directly. I mean, she's not selling it to the public, but maybe she'd be willing to
order up some samples.
Yeah.
Maybe. I would prefer it from the tap. You know?
I believe there are certain ladies of the evening who specialize in, I believe it's called wet works.
What? Isn't that like killing people?
No, a different kind of wet work.
That's wet work, not wet works. I guess the plural makes
Isn't that her? Oh.
Dang rope,
Megan.
please. Where the America, the land of the free, where you can stuff your face with as many burgers and fries as you dang rope, please. Where the obesity rate is the highest in the world by
now I
a
want a
long
beer.
shot at nearly 40%. Where only about 23% of Americans get the recommended amount of exercise.
Why is she like fake yelling?
And sure, this will increase your chances of diabetes, heart disease, and other preventable diseases. But hey,
Oh yeah, she's totally lopsy when she jumbled.
your health, and you'll deal with the consequences of your choices.
Yeah, look at that. Yeah, that's right.
She's pretty cute, man.
Come again?
Will you pay more in taxes?
Come again.
I the
I've heard that before.
I the come again?
To all people.
Come again?
To all people.
Jesus Christ.
Come again?
Calm down, brother. I can't.
In taxes, you will.
More?
I the taxpayer is going to pay for everyone's medical bills. That's it. Freedom is going bye-bye. We're going to have waist measuring. Are you over the limit? That's
You can't measure waist with measuring tape like that.
You don't measure waist with that.
You're going to
You measure
learn to
something
love
else with that.
Yeah.
Like it or not.
Oh, that's
Sodas?
finished.
No, you're
Yeah.
only allowed green tea. You smoke?
Not anymore, you don't.
You can either have freedom or universal health care. Pick one.
She looks a little
And if you
insane.
like my shirt, you can get
She
it
looks
on
a
my
lot
merch
of
website,
insane.
I love this chick. She's
libertyjunkies.com,
awesome.
and you can get free shipping
She's
if you
against
spend
communism.
$50 or more.
She's doing shit.
Yeesh. I don't know.
Love it. She's amazing. The new hex box.
Billionaires shouldn't
Plan
exist.
because, first of all, guys, I am so impressed with Elizabeth Warren's tax the rich plan.
Look at all the
because,
Amazon stuff
first
she's
of all,
got behind
they
her.
shouldn't even be
She's shipping
billionaires.
out,
Like,
brother.
who even
Or maybe-
deserves to have that kind of money? By the way, the Starbucks mocha latte frap is everything. I have to have one every morning. Literally,
She's making fun of.
without it. Anyways,
I feel like
billionaires are
she
taking
does a bunch of
advantage
cocaine.
us. It is
Think
time
so?
for families
Yeah.
to get back. As I was, oh, sorry about that. Got a text message. Oh, my cousin had the baby. More pictures on Facebook. Oh, look, it is so cool to be connected to her, even though she lives thousands of miles away. As I was saying, it's all about greed.
What?
Is this supposed to be funny?
It's a satire. She's
on coke.
with Warren fans.
Baby, Amazon.com. Ooh, I like that one. 2-day delivery. Yes, please. But back to the point, and sorry I keep getting distracted today. It's really about fairness. Why do they get to have that kind of money and I don't? Well, I gotta get back to my show, so I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.
Okay, she almost had me. She almost had me until peace.
That's what it was?
Yeah, that was it. That was a deal breaker. I'm not going to leave my wife for her.
That's what it took. That's the only thing.
I'll leave mine.
Skid says, I think she's trolling so hard I can't tell what side she's on. I feel the same way, brother. I'm confused.
It's arousing.
She's not closing the joke. That's the problem. She's making the joke, but she's not closing it, so it leaves you confused.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, where's the punchline?
Right. The whole she doesn't realize that there needs to be a setup and a punchline. She's just mocking.
Yeah, this woman is like a shit commie Mark. I agree.
Whoa.
Commie Mark was way funnier than this chick.
Yeah.
Man, I was hoping for something better. What a letdown. Not real breast milk. Or the breast milk is real, it's just not for sale. And
I bet the breast milk's not even real.
That's probably not even her breast milk. That's like somebody else's photo, probably.
Photoshopped in.
I can't watch another video of this chick. Can't do it.
I agree.
Can't do it.
Well, it's something in the news that actually happened last night and today, and it's ongoing, is Krakatoa blew its lid.
So cool. It looked so beautiful.
Isn't it? And you know what's
Yeah.
awesome about it is that all these climate activists and all that stuff, they're all carbon credits. It's going to take like 3,500 years to pay off Krakatoa's lid.
That's the truth.
The video.
No.
It's
You wanna
amazing.
pull it up?
There's like in the yeah, I guess so.
It looks like it's something out of a feature film.
Yeah, it looks
that
like
beautiful.
it's something out of Fantasia, man.
Yeah, that's great. Yes, exactly.
In the cloud of like lava and magma and stuff, there's lightning. Let me pull it up here.
Kino Subway says, I think she would make a great woman to burn Phil's comics because he wasn't paying enough attention to her.
Yeah, I was looking at her boobs. Look at that. Look at that lightning in the cloud. That's amazing. It's crazy.
That's some serious electromagnetic forces going on there.
That is fierce.
It's like a titan coming from out of the ground from like Hercules.
It looks like a very slow motion Earth fart.
Oh my god.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, so cool. So this was some inspirational imagery for comic creating.
Dude, yeah, that's
it's symbolic to the comic industry.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, it's very symbolic to the comic industry right now.
You know what? I feel like downloading that footage and superimposing something awesome in there, like a animated demon or something coming out of it.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, do it.
Oh my god.
This was the other news that I wanted to talk about that just happened. Obviously, we've seen McFarlane cracked $1 million on his Spawn action figure campaign in just a matter of days.
Yep.
Now we have Kevin Eastman and Simon Beasley doing Totally Twisted Tales.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Hail the biz.
Yeah. This just launched this morning, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow.
So let's see. What is this? This campaign is for an exclusive signed copy of Kevin Eastman's Totally Twisted Tales, along with a pack of cool collectibles. This Clover Press exclusive cover for Eastman's Totally Twisted Tales is signed by the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle co-creator himself, Kevin Eastman. That's nice. It's a nice big hardback book, it looks like.
Yeah. These guys have been working together for years. They did some Ninja Turtle stuff together, and much more like short story things.
Actually, okay, so looking at the perks, they've got, this is weird, they got buttons up first. These guys obviously don't know how to put together a campaign page yet. We need to get, hey, Eastman, hit me up. We'll get you some helpful tips. But shit, you get an unsigned book for only $13.
Crazy.
Shipping in May, hopefully, fingers crossed. Anyway, the signed copy for $30. That looks like I guess it's got a different cover.
Yeah.
I like the signed cover better anyway. 42 gets you the signed book and the punk rock buttons. I like the buttons. That's cool.
Punk.
Oh, then we got a signed bundle.
Multiple books.
Doesn't really. I can't tell. I wonder if it tells us somewhere. Oh shit, dude! You can get a skateboard deck. Or a signed skateboard deck, dude. This is actually pretty cool. Cool shit. It's got a bunch of skateboard decks. $500 gets you everything.
All 5 decks, brother.
All 5 decks.
I'm having a feeling that these guys, due to their like significant existence in the industry, were able to get all this stuff pre-produced, and this is just like the first release of it. These are not like pre-orders like we do. You know what I mean? I have a feeling.
Yeah, probably. Yep. That's awesome. It's cool to see more and more.
They're like, well, we can't sell our stuff in skateboard shops and comic book stores for the next couple months. Let's do a crowdfunding campaign and just sell the stuff there.
Yeah, it's cool. Are there skateboard shops still?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Very
Especially
much
here
so.
on the West Coast. Quite a few.
That makes sense. All the hippies.
Yeah, I mean, we have them down here in St. Louis. Got one actually just a few miles from me.
Oh, okay.
What I actually just seen, I tried to pull the tweet up. Yesterday I seen Jimmy Palmiotti said something about how we don't need more big comic book companies. We just need more creators producing books.
Yeah.
And a couple people were like, "Ooh, Comicsgate," and then he deleted the tweet.
Really?
Yeah.
What? That's crazy.
Yeah, he deleted the tweet. But a little bit later, he did mention that he's probably going to be launching his Kickstarter campaign coming up real soon.
Yeah. Well, he did last year. He did Painkiller Jane.
Yeah,
I think that was pretty successful.
So yeah, he's getting ready to launch that because, well, pretty much like what we just said. Well, you can't sell your book in shops. You're not getting paid by Marvel or DC. Well, I think he just works for DC.
Yeah.
But they getting a paycheck there. Perfect time to do crowdfunding. There's a lot of hungry comic book fans out there that want some content.
Yeah, I don't know why he would delete that tweet because he's, I don't know, he's a pretty, friendly to indie comics kind of guy. He's really good friends with Billy Tucci. I was just on Tucci's stream yesterday talking about the industry for a while. And, Tucci's all about that, the indie stuff, all about, CG. So I actually met him and Jimmy in Chicago last year, which was pretty cool. And, they're both pretty conservative guys and very into indie comics. I don't know why he would.
I'm sure he got slack from somebody.
Yeah, that's true.
Somebody hit him up in DMs or sent him emails saying that, hey, you need to take that tweet down because it looks bad. Kind of like this, the same friends I'm sure that Sean Gordon Murphy has that said that it looks bad to do a crowdfunding campaign right now with the industry going to shit.
What a bunch of dang-a-tangs.
Definitely.
Oh, wait. When did that launch?
This book?
This
Yeah.
launched today.
This morning.
Okay. Yeah. And it's still, they obviously don't realize that you got to build up your campaign before you launch it, right?
No,
they're working on their name status.
Kevin Easton and Simon Bisley.
Right. So they're just going off of like, oh, we're famous, so we're just gonna
Yeah.
Let's check out the video.
Kevin Eastman, Simon Bisley. Totally twisted tails.
Oh man, I need a cigarette.
That's pretty heavy metal.
That's super heavy metal. They're definitely going for the 90s vibe with the buttons and the skateboard decks. I'm curious how many skateboard decks these guys actually end up selling.
I'm curious if they had any involvement in the campaign other than, I'll agree to sign this stuff afterwards.
It seems like they have because it doesn't look like a great campaign. But
like maybe some assistant or some,
maybe.
Well, this is launched under Clover Press, and it's their first campaign.
Yeah.
Well, who's Clover Press? Is that their company or is that some alternate?
I think it's Eastman's new thing.
Yeah, the campaign page definitely needs. It's actually, this is set up just like a Kickstarter campaign.
Yeah. Well,
is there one on Kickstarter?
No, I don't think so. But you see that a lot with people doing Indiegogos. The only real reference they've had for the past, 5 years was Kickstarter and expectations too. That's why you see a lot of people coming over Indiegogo now, not knowing about the huge network that CG brings and kind of like the criteria of how to build your campaign. And you see people putting their books up for $5, $10 with a $2 digital copy, and that destroys their numbers. For sure.
Yeah, you got to stay away from the digital as much as possible because you'll probably get a shitload of backers, but you won't make any kind of money. I noticed that with a couple campaigns that I was looking at that launched, and newer guys too, people who haven't done campaigns or books before. The one I looked at, he had over 100 backers, which that's a big thumbs up. If you hit that 100 backer mark, that's awesome. But I don't think he barely cleared like $2,000.
Yeah, that's insane. You gotta watch your numbers, look what everybody else is doing, and take it from what we're doing in CG, because before this, $2,000 or like $1,000 was a big deal on an indie comic like 3-4 years ago, and now CG has taken that up to the whole nother level.
Yeah, Rotten says this isn't a campaign, it's a store, essentially.
Yeah, exactly.
But think of this as them dipping their toes in the water. You know, like I said, first campaign, they're trying to see how everything works, what they can do, what they can't do.
Yeah, I see this as them just exploiting the market that somebody else built. That's all. That's all it is.
Think so?
Oh yeah, definitely.
I mean, it's crowdfunding. Anyone can do it.
Well, no, yeah, but they're not crowdfunding. They're using their crowdfunding platform to sell comic books, which really, which was a built-in thing into these platforms on the old school Kickstarter model. But that was again crowdfunding. Recently, people have their books done and start treating the platforms like a store because in demand of how that works.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That and then that really didn't exist in the comic book industry and very until Comicsgate was doing it, and then boom, now it's like oh, this is what's going on. Okay, well let's just exploit this. You know what I mean? And I mean it's mark my words, you're going to see a lot more of this now that Comicsgate has a place where there's actual money. Ethan Van Sciver's bringing in major bucks, high profile names like Sylvester Stallone are being associated to books. Now you're going to start getting these big guys who will already have product ready to go coming in and turning Indiegogo into just a flat, easy store. It only takes 8%. You know what I mean? It's like, and they don't feel like they have to do any overhead risk other than they're already stock. And then they may not even throw it up available when other things exist, but they'll still come in and maybe they'll like have an idea they want to scheme, or you know what I mean, and see how it goes. Especially if Marvel and DC continue to cripple themselves, we'll see more and more of this. And then the sad thing is they're gonna take a lot of Comicsgate money, but not contribute anything in return.
Yeah, well, that's up to the fans and customers of Comicsgate to choose what they're going to put their money into.
Rotten says the irony here is that this is a fake punk content and it's a fake crowdfunding campaign. Meta. Meanwhile, over here on Kickstarter, Todd McFarlane's making about $100,000 a day on this Spawn campaign.
I think it was more than that, man. Because hasn't this been up for 2 days?
Well, this is still also true crowdfunding because the you can pick the kind of thing that you want, and they're going to order after that this campaign's over. You know what I mean? So this is an actual campaign for the orders. So there's a big difference than like, okay, we already have stock and we're trying to dump it on you. You can tell by the way that they have their products set up.
Yeah.
This was launched on, I believe, Tuesday.
Oh, really?
I think it was Tuesday.
It doesn't seem like that. That's crazy.
I know. Like seriously, $1 million in a week, man.
Yeah, it's amazing. Well, he's the Todd father for a reason.
Yeah, I mean, this dude, I think it's hilarious because it was right after Sean Gordon Murphy uploaded that video about him being skeptical about launching a crowdfunding campaign in this climate right now, and then like the next day, McFarlane launches this with like I mean, I didn't hear about this until it launched. Like I didn't know this was happening. I don't know if he had been promoting this.
Yeah, he has. Yeah, since
has he been? Okay.
Yeah, he has.
So he was pushing this, and then he launched this and was funded $100,000 goal funded in an hour, I think.
Yeah.
Just a few hours at most, and then boom, broke $1 million yesterday afternoon or early evening.
So how long was his build up that he was? How long was he promoting this? How far pre-corona is this?
Let's see. Yeah, so he announced it at a toy convention probably 3 months ago.
Yeah, he did.
And he was going to do it crowdfunding, or that he
he talked about the crowdfunding. He talked about
it was a toy fair in New York.
How you would how they would unlock more characters and stuff along the way for stretch goals. Yeah, it was a big deal.
Well, that's cool. Then it's got nothing to do but just being smart business.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, totally.
That is McFarlane.
And something about crowdfunding and being in demand. I put a third link in the private chat. It's regarding my book one, Joe King. It's not about shilling the book. I just wanted to point out that, ladies and gentlemen, once your book is done, on Indiegogo, you can take it out and mimic the Indiegogo store on your own website, whether it's WordPress or anything like that, with PayPal buttons, and you can bypass the additional fees that Indiegogo would charge you and just have the one PayPal fee.
Yeah, and then we see that, Ethan doing that with his eBay store with Cyberfrog.
But eBay again is there's fees in eBay. There's fees in transferring of the money to PayPal and stuff like that.
There's also fees in running your own website. So it's all, and plus if something goes wrong financially, you know what I mean, there's different things and different platforms. Plus eBay has a built-in search. You'd have to construct a website. There's a different approaches. It's everybody's got their different thing. But yeah, George makes a good point. If you have the ability to put your own website together, you can just use PayPal shopping cart buttons and make your own little version of the same perks from your campaign. I mean, that's very doable.
For sure. Adam died.
Yeah,
I had my mic muted.
Adam was fapping it to the Spawn toy.
I've fucking had my mic muted. Wenger had his first Aldrake book on Etsy. I don't know what Etsy charges.
Yeah,
it was cheap.
You can get Magic Hop shirts on Etsy right now. So,
nice. Yeah, your brother was saying something about putting the prints up on Etsy too.
Yeah. We have plans to do that, and it's like the pros and cons for doing your own website, which we also have, versus Etsy or eBay, is people are familiar with Etsy. They have an account already. They shop on it, and same thing with eBay. So the more you're able to get your stuff in different places, you're not, secluding your audience to one area. So
right,
if they're more comfortable with eBay.
It's like putting your stuff in a department store in a way.
Yeah, for sure.
Rotten says, when Todd licenses a Comicsgate IP to make figures, we're throwing a huge party. I would almost bet EVS would be the first. I would love to see some McFarlane toy Cyberfrog figures.
Yeah, I don't know if it's McFarlane, but EVS is already talking to somebody about that.
Yeah, he's been working on it. He's just trying to figure out the most fundamental and affordable way to do it, because when he was talking last, he was saying that it's expensive. It's real expensive.
Well, here's the way I do my figurines. There's another link in the private chat that maybe you can show in the stream. And it's I model and design and model my own characters, and I actually produce them and sell them in terms of
page not found.
Oh, that didn't work.
Oh, give me a sec. Is that right?
Yeah, sculpts are crazy expensive.
Oh, I see what happened here. We're missing.
Yeah.
The letter got cut off.
No, I actually model 3D and I do 3D print.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And there you go.
Oh, yeah, I remember seeing this stuff, man. It was really cool.
That shit looks good.
So you can you can get your own figurines done, whether it's through me or by ingenuity, mother of necessity. You can get your own figurines done for your books.
Mm-hmm.
If you scroll down, you'll see the 2 foot full color version.
2 foot?
Yeah.
Adam, scroll down.
I'm scrolling, damn it.
Christ. Nice.
That's 2 feet.
Damn, that's a figure. That's more than just a figure.
Well, just scroll down and you'll see.
Adam's all, that's a figure with a figure.
Adam, scroll down.
I'm scrolling, damn it.
Yeah, click on those images and you'll get a enlargey.
I love those enlargies.
Well, the thing, with 3D printing, you find yourself a modeler.
Yeah,
and you can set up a deal with the modelers, meaning that they model it, they produce it, you sell it, and if you can come to the modeler who has a 3D printer, with a minimum order at least, then he can actually produce the figurines, and you can actually get figurines to your customers.
Yeah,
it's all about negotiating a deal. that's all that's slowing you down.
Yeah, that is cool, man. I love statues.
I
That
do
would be
too. I used
one of
to
my
be a
goals.
fiend for statues.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
It's cool.
Sketch Therapy says Todd saw people shame crowdfunding and sent a signal. Go ahead. Let's see if they talk shit to me. Ain't nobody gonna talk shit to McFarlane. Even if they do, he don't give two shits. Pert says there's no guarantees with crowdfunding. The risk to the consumers is greater than pre-ordering from a store. I think it is a bit rude for established companies to crowdfund, but money is money.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, we've been crowdfunding comic books since the early 70s with the direct store market opening up. The direct store market is, in a sense, a crowdfunding system.
Yeah, it's a risk to anybody to crowdfund, you know.
Vasen Kasi asks, "What 3D printer are you using?"
I got a few MakerBots, called Cirrus, and the Cred, the CR, the CR series, and also a Perusa.
Did you guys hear those loud bangs?
Which ones? The ones behind me with my cats, or?
No. Someone just drove by my house. It was a motorcycle, and every 5 feet it backfired.
Oh.
Super loud.
No, I did not. I did not hear that.
You sure it wasn't a drive-by?
No. Yeah, that was insane. Get your motorcycle checked, bro.
Ted asks, George, do you have a rate fine 3D modeling?
No, actually, I opened this up to everybody in Comicsgate for over a year now. Whenever I have a chance to talk about this, I don't charge for the modeling at all.
Wow.
Here's the thing. My philosophy is this. I've been doing what I've been doing for a very long time, and a very patient guy, because I know what I want to do and how I want to get there.
Yeah.
But a lot of people here always going for the quick buck and all that stuff. But there are a lot of people here that actually are quality of character, and they're sincere and trying to produce great content and give it to the audience. And I want to help them. I've been helping people for a very long time. It's the thing that my mom has ingrained in me. Just help your fellow man. And when it comes to talent that I've in my talent stack, I would help people craft their story. I would help people produce their books. I would help produce their films and stuff like that. But specifically when it's something that I have a direct influence on for modeling and 3D printing, I will model it. I will not charge you for $2,000 to $5,000 to produce a model, which I've heard horror stories, ladies and gentlemen, in Comicsgate, of people actually spending that much money. It's ridiculous. I will model it. All I ask is that you have the same passion and sell your product to your audience. I will tell you what the cost is, and order 10, maybe 20 pieces. But you have to sell those pieces before you order it.
Yeah.
Right. So that way, you're making money with zero risk, and I'm making money with the only risk is my time actually to produce your figurine.
Yeah.
Sketch says this looks
That's
cool.
awesome.
Is it a McFarlane? Nope, it's a Gatsis.
Yeah, it's a Gatsis. No, but that's what I offer, and if someone's serious, I would send them actual contract where it clearly states. I have a contract that clearly states that the product that I'm creating, I claim no ownership in it, and that the person who's telling me what their design is that I'm going to model and spend time producing is that this design is theirs 100%. It's not something that they're taking from somebody else or spoofing somebody else. It's their own original content. So they sign the contract. We're ready to rock and roll. And the contract says, hey, in the event that you sell this product to your audience, get me 10, 20 orders. I'll sell you them at cost. I make money, plastic plus time to actually package the whole stuff up and send it to them, and they ship it out to their clients.
No, that's awesome, man. We need more CG statues. In the future, down the line, I think that would be really cool.
Yeah, that's the oddity. I mean, actually, believe it or not, actually no, it's not believe it or not. When before I got into Comicsgate, the first product that actually sold outside of my own works. Actually, no, it's my own work. In 2016, I did a Space Force Donald Trump, and for close to 3 years, I couldn't sell it. I was shadow banned big time. And then when I saw Chuck Dixon and Timothy Lim coming out with Space Force Donald Trump comic book, I contacted Chuck and said, "Would you guys be interested in having this as a tier?"
Yeah.
And they said yes. And
cool.
they put it up, and I did a limited run of 32 Space Force Donald Trumps, very specific in the design for their campaign only. And when the campaign was done, the design is axed, and I redesigned the character, repositioned the arm. You can tell if you put them side by side, they are different.
Yeah.
And I'm continuing to sell the Donald Trump figurine directly off my store.
Sweet.
That's awesome,
man. Yeah. This Oddity one's pretty sick too.
Yeah. And those are all the pieces that make it up right there.
Yeah, for sure.
And
not only do you get a figurine, you get a puzzle.
Yeah, well, the base that you see there is actually 16 pieces interlocking each other, like a 3D puzzle. If
That's really cool too.
Yeah, see, if you look closely, you can see the cracks between the pieces.
Yeah, for sure. Those are awesome.
I used to have those like ball puzzles as a kid that had all kinds of different shaped pieces, and they all fit together to form.
Exactly.
It was just a ball.
Exactly. Wasn't that exciting? I mean, you literally have to think in 3D space, and that's why when I produced this, I produced this technically for a reason, is because if I had to do that base on one printer, it would be like a 16-hour print.
Yeah, for sure.
But 16 pieces spread across multiple printers, I can produce that in a fraction of the time.
Yeah, you kind of got this down to a science, George.
It is. I actually wrote a couple of white papers that are in the Library of Congress, or no, the Canadian version of the Library of Congress.
Oh, that doesn't count, brother.
Well, we're at our 2-hour mark, so we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. Everybody in the chat, make sure you get on the Joe King mailing list. Also check out georgepetergatsis.com.
Sorry. If you get on the Joe King mailing list before I go live with a campaign, you'll get a discount on every tier and every perk.
Nice.
But after the campaign is active, the discount is non-existent to anyone after the campaign starts up. It's a huge discount. In the second campaign, there's going to be a spaceship, a actual spaceship available as a figurine.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be sweet. Right now, I'm debating whether it's going to be a 12-incher or an 18-incher. It just depends.
Yeah, that's what I've heard her say before too.
Yeah.
and also, I have a series of trading cards with Joe King teaming up with other creators that are going to be part of the campaign.
Yeah, Captain Love's got one of those with Joe King.
Captain Love and Joe King is awesome. I'm telling you. You just got to sign up just for that card alone. But I also have other cards with Donald DeLay, with Cecil, with Narwhal, with Mike Angerhausen, Nathan Masters, the Canadian Shield, Rick Piper. What else? Oh, Door Kickers. Oh, that's a great gag. Door Kickers. There's it's a serious military guy with a long rifle, a sniper gun, and he's looking over at Joe, who's backing him up with all these power-ups from games and stuff like that.
Awesome.
It's a great trading card. But the Donald DeLay trading card alone was a great piece that took me a long time to produce, and I kept on updating Donald as I was producing it. And all he has to say is nice things about it as it was done. It's his artwork, by the way. It's his Brutus artwork.
Sweet.
So I just want to be clear. Cecil card as well. I think there's going to be 2 different Cecil cards, puzzle cards. They're very similar to each other, but there's more puzzle cards being developed until I've actually finished the illustrations and put them together. But these are going to be oversized cards as well.
Yeah, everybody's loving trading cards, man. They're
Dude,
fun.
I love the resurgence of trading cards and Comicsgate. It's
I've even got people like trying to make sure they get the whole set. They're like, "Is there a way I can just order the missing ones? I didn't realize." And I'm like, "Oh."
Yeah. No, they're fun. Yeah, we're doing some for ours.
The Captain Love joke. Volunteering the set of cards for Captain Love up for all the backers who brought it up to 5,000.
Yeah. So basically, the backers in the first 24 hours are the ones that did that. So.
Yeah, and it's not costing the campaign a dime. I'm producing the cards myself, and I'm sending them off to our big friend here, Drew, and he's going to include it in the campaign. So the backers are getting this wonderful thing. The campaign's not dinged an extra dime, and they're able to maximize more profits.
Yeah, George, you sometimes you're just way too generous, dude. I mean, everybody, it's like if people are going to get to know you a lot, but you make sure you don't let them take advantage of you, brother. That's all. Yeah.
Well, I think George, you have a lot to bring to the table, and I do hope that more people get their eyes on you. Like I said, I really enjoyed the first Joe King book. It was entertaining. It came out of left field. I was not expecting to like it, honestly, as much as I did. But I think you're going places within this community. People just need to realize that you are available. You have many talents, and you want to use them, which is really cool.
Yeah, and I'll throw it out there. If anyone's listening, if they want to create a Joe King and your character puzzle trading card, call me up. Hit me up. I'm very accessible. My website is email.
Send him a fax.
My phone. I don't have fax, but my phone number is on my website. You can
Telegraph.
You can get my phone number. Just leave a message. I'll call you back. I am not the kind of guy who hides behind avatars. I'm not dissing the channel here. I'm just saying. My name.
Yeah, Adam.
I've been a
fucking early. Shut up.
Well, I'm of the philosophy. I'm a slave to the words I speak. So I always manage my dialogue. I just want to say,
brother, sweet.
So everybody make sure you keep an eye on him. Make sure you get out there and back Captain Love. If you didn't get the first book, you still can. Make sure you get in on that second book as well. And of course, Magic Cop is still available too. You can pick up that. It's creeping towards that 10 grand mark.
Yeah, we're almost there.
Getting there.
And everything's shipped out right now. So it's just basically we're shipping on demand now. So if you guys order, the next day we're going to be shipping out your book. And check out, search up the hashtag on on Twitter. Everybody's posting their books. It's awesome to see. So you can see the actual physical book, which is right here. And Adam's got his. Everybody's, Drew's got his. Yeah.
Yeah. Super high quality book right there.
Yeah.
I have a question. How long before you actually produce 2 or 3 more books on Magic Hop?
So Magic Hop, we're looking to launch the second one around October, but our next book we are going full force in right now, which is launching next month. It's a totally different IP, and the mailing list is up right now. So if you guys check that out, I know Rotten Glory was there. It actually adds the link is right in the chat there. It's called The Lost Pages. It's totally a different style with multiple artists, more of a hero book going through different genres of superhero comic books. So check that out as well.
Nice. And Captain Love, when is your next book, and when are you going to hit some more books?
Well, right now the first book is obviously still in demand and just recently broke 8 grand, which is awesome. And the second book is racing up to that same number very fast. But the second book is going in 6 chapters, and then the 7th book time will be the 7th chapter. The 7th campaign will actually be a graphic novel. So that's going to be going pretty much constantly. So you
Yeah.
pretty much for the next year and a half. Just realize that I'm going to be constantly campaigning one chapter to the next for
Not a bad
Pirate
place
Gang.
to be in, though, brother.
That's what it's about.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Hustling.
Adam,
What?
when is your first book coming out?
Well, I am co-writer on Blood Hunt, which will be fulfilling. Well, we will be printing at the end of this month, and then my own IP will be launching later this year, probably late summer, early fall.
Yeah, burlesque mice and drag.
That's right, burlesque mice in drag.
Well, as long as they have D cups.
They will definitely have double D cups.
Yes, brother. Yes.
All right, guys. Thank you for hanging out with me this morning. It's been lovely. Hail to the chat. All you guys have been great this morning. Thanks for coming out, and we will definitely see you next time.
Hail to the chat. Thanks for coming.
Hail Comicsgate.
See ya.
Hail Comicsgate.
Boober.